Hello everyone, I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And this is Millennial and Mom. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 4, Episode 4, Baby Be Mine. But a lot of these babies are starting to look like maybes. So, let's get into the video. First, we're going to start off with Darcy and Tom. We're going to start off with them because everyone by now knows the Darcy and Tom story.
Yeah.
Okay. We see Darcy and she's at the spa with her sister and her friend walking in swimsuit and heels. And I didn't know you wore a swimsuit and heels to the spa.
I mean, it wouldn't be Stacy and Darcy if they didn't zhuzh it up everywhere they go.
I mean, that's true, but I didn't know. We see her talking about the picture that she saw with Tom, and she said that looks like a double version of her, or maybe I thought I heard her say younger version.
I thought I heard younger too.
That's what I said last week in an episode.
Well,
but she said the last few days has been rough for her.
Yeah, she did, because she's not sure where her relationship with Tom stands. I think she does. I just don't think she wants to accept where it stands. But anyway, Stacy asks if Darcy has heard from Tom since the last time they text. And Darcy says no. Darcy's friend says, you know what? Tom is just batshit crazy. Why would he do that to you? Why would he keep messing with you, messing with your mind, your emotions?
For camera time.
That too. Darcy says, you know, she's been messaging Tom back and forth to try to find out about the relationship. And Stacy's pretty much saying how she feels that Darcy needs to get a fresh start when it comes to Tom because he's just causing more chaos and confusion. And I agree. Darcy says she doesn't want to go to New York. You know why? Because she doesn't want to have the same reaction remember when Jesse called her and said he was going to meet her in New York? And then what happened? They broke up? She doesn't want the same thing to happen to her with Tom, so that's the thing. So anyways, they're all talking about it, and then you know what? Darcy decides, you know what, forget it. She's going to go to New York to confront Tom because he's not going to treat her like this. Right. She's a strong woman. She's confident in who she is, and she needs to show her girls what it is to be a strong woman. So Darcy's going to New York.
I would too. I would go to New York on his dime because it's not like she's paying. Or is she paying?
I don't know. Sound like she's paying. He said meet me in New York. So
next we have Ed and Rosemary. So we see them finally going to the hotel, and Rosemary's like, oh, I've never seen a big hotel like this before, never been in one, so she feels like a princesa.
They get to the room and they're sitting across from each other, and Ed is like, so do you feel excited sitting next to me? She's like, yeah, I feel excited. Well, as we look into the room, you see that there are 2 twin beds pushed together, which is a good thing because Ed and Rosemary are uncomfortable about sleeping with each other the first night. Whether it's sex or not, they just don't want to be in the same bed. So they're comfortable with that. Now, Ed asked Rosemary, do you have any pajamas? She's like, oh, no, I didn't bring any, while she's looking through her purse. I didn't see her with no backpack, no luggage or nothing, so I think she just came with her purse. So, which meant she didn't have a change of clothes. At least that's what it meant to me. So Ed was like, well, don't worry, I have something for you. So he holds up a t-shirt, the San Diego where he's from. So he's like, well, you go ahead and get ready and I'll wait for you. So she gets ready, she puts on the shorts and the t-shirt. And then Ed goes in and he's brushing his teeth. Now, I was waiting for Ed to bring out his sensitive hair stuff and his face wash, stuff like that, because he's in a new hotel. Remember, he said he brought stuff or sent stuff ahead? So where was it in your suitcase? Because the only thing he used was his toothbrush.
Maybe he had hotel accommodations before, maybe. But my thing was when they were both talking and Ed was like, well, you don't seem so excited. And Rosemary was like, yeah, I am excited. But Ed was like, well, maybe you don't seem excited because you're tired. Like, why are you making excuses?
I don't know. But when Ed goes in to brush his teeth and he comes back out, Rose is already in the bed. She's got the covers pulled up. Now, it looked like she was fake sleeping.
It did look like she was fake sleeping. Like, I don't know what's worse. Her looking like she fake slept or Ed still having on the same clothes.
The same clothes. I was like, girl, is that the same clothes? He didn't change or nothing. He just brushed his teeth and was like, good night. I was like, that's not going to work after your 2-day trip on the plane. But that's just me.
Chills.
In the morning, we see them at breakfast. Ed orders room service, and they're talking about the day they're going to have. Ed wants to go shopping before he goes meets her family, which I thought was cool. You know, maybe he's going to get some stuff to take to them as a welcome gift, something like that. So they get to shopping, and the first store they find is a store that sells pajamas. I thought that was low-key shade, personally.
It wasn't low-key shade. He said that he noticed that she didn't have any night clothes, so he felt like bad and sad for her and wanted to go buy her clothes. But my thing is, the problem I have with a lot of these couples who go to these other countries, like they be surprised at how poor people are. Yeah. I feel like y'all already know how poor they are, and y'all either have money or pretend to have money, and y'all try to flaunt it. And like in this episode with Ed, he had the money, but he wasn't really trying to spend the money, but was mad at her because she was trying to make him spend some money. But wasn't that the whole point of you going to the marketplace?
Yeah, but let me touch on something though. Remember in the previous episode before he got there, didn't you see those Victoria's Secret bags he was packing? So she had night clothes. He just didn't want to wear them just yet. I'm just saying. He wanted her to wear pajamas. While they're at the market, they're shopping to get the pajamas, and she's taking money out of his wallet. He's uncomfortable with that. And then they go to the next store. I forgot what they purchased, but she told the guy keep the change. He's like, what? What you mean keep the change? She's like, oh, it's only like such and
10
such.
pesos.
Yeah. He was like, oh. But during this whole time, Manila's very hot and humid and everything. Ed is sweating through his shirt. Oh, they're looking for a shirt for him. I think that was her way of telling him that, maybe we need to change your shirt.
He was drenched.
He was, but he wasn't prepared for the climate at all because he was hot, ready to go. It looked like he was going to pass out.
Next we have Stephanie and Erica. And after the dinner, Stephanie and Erica FaceTime each other. And she's talking about the dinner and how it went. And she basically was like, she didn't tell her family why she was really going to Australia.
Right.
And Erica was like, well, did they act suspicious? And Stephanie was like, no. But,
they did.
Everyone knows that they did.
Yeah. So then Stephanie changes the subject and asks Erica what she's doing for the day. And Erica goes on to say, oh, she has plans with her friends. It's the Australian football final. She's going to hang out with them, have dinner, all kind of stuff. And Stephanie's like, oh, wow, well, you live a much more exciting life than I do because I just pretty much sit around the house. And Erica's looking like... So, she's like, yeah, well, it'll be okay. And Stephanie asks Erica, so... how do you think it'll be when I get there? She's like, well, I hope it'll be okay. I don't want you to have any drama with my friends. And I'm planning stuff for us to do as well. So she wants Stephanie to get out and do things too. But she doesn't know that Stephanie has a condition.
She doesn't know?
No.
Which is why she didn't tell her.
The next day, we see Stephanie leaving for Australia. She's packing, and then her friend Heather comes over to help her finish packing and get everything together. And Stephanie tells Heather that she's hoping for an engagement while she's there. Stephanie's also a little bit hesitant because she knows that Erica is much more outgoing, like we talked about. But the fact that that Erica does not know about the condition is really weighing heavy on her mind. And Heather's like, well, why didn't you tell her? She's like, well, I just don't want there to be anything between us. She's packing all her medical supplies and all her hand sanitizer and her mask and things that she needs. Any small virus can affect her health, And this was what's happening in today's world. So Stephanie needs to take all kind of precautions flying. I think was Australia like a day and a half ahead of the United States. So she's going to be on the plane a long time. Heather's wanting her to be careful. And Heather also says that, Stephanie wears her heart on her shoulders. She jumps into things quickly. Stephanie's just not hearing that from anybody. She's determined to go. She feels that Erica's the love of her life and hopes to be together forever.
That's nice and all, but I really feel like she should have told Erica because she probably has like a list of itinerary if she's a good girlfriend to do. And she probably can't even do half the stuff like that,
Yeah.
So she should have told her. Moving on to Avery and Ash, and we see Avery in the airport. She's waiting for Ash, and they both are actually nervous, but they're excited. But Avery's like, she laid a lot on the line for this, so she definitely wants this to work out.
So now they get in the taxi to take Avery and Ash to the hotel. And Avery's kind of surprised that they're going to a hotel because she thought that they were going to the house that Avery and Ash shares with his brother. Now, see, I didn't realize he shared a home with his brother. I thought it was just him and his son from the last episode. So anyways, they make small talk in a car about how soft each other's hands are and things like that.
One thing about Ash, she does make the girls or the women giggly. They just be like,
Right. Well, Avery did say he knows the right things to say. That's how she got. Again, that's how you would have got to.
Who? Me?
Yeah, we talked about this before with you. They make it to the hotel room. Avery wants to have her own room. So while looking around, Avery was like, oh, is this your room or my room? Ash is like, oh.
No, at first Ash was like, do you want this side of the bed
Oh, yeah.
or that side of the bed? And Avery was like, no, this is my room. Where's the other room? And he was like,
right.
okay. Well, the other room's over here.
Yeah. But Avery says she's not quite comfortable to sleep in the same bed or have sex on a first night. And then in Ash's confessional, he was like, yeah, I understand that too. But he tried to make it seem like he was the one that suggested it first.
You know, they wanted to do it for the emotional connection.
Yeah.
Because that's how he gets people with the emotional connection.
He didn't get me.
I see you, Ash.
You see it now. No, I've been
you.
recognized that. I didn't fall for that ever. So next, Ash gives Avery some black roses. And Avery's like, oh, wow. And then the producers say, do you know what black roses means? And Ash is like, yeah, it's darkness. But from the darkness, lightness becomes.
When you saw that episode, you were like, black roses.
That's exactly what I said. I know what that means. But, you know, I think that's part of his self-help, his self-calming, his mediation. I think these are things that he says to these women, these single women online to get him to get to his heart. I do believe that's one of his pickup lines. Again, it would not have worked for me. Ash gives Avery some bracelets. And Avery says, oh, the infamous bracelets. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Did you realize that at first?
No, because at first I'm like, okay, bracelets. And then she was like, oh, the bracelets that broke us up. And I'm like, what do you mean bracelets that broke you up? And then she was like, you know, because we broke up 3 times. So I'm like, okay, the bracelets are resembling the 3 times you broke up. And I'm like, I only see 2 bracelets, not 3. But then she was like, well, he posted those bracelets on Instagram that says Ash loves Avery and Avery loves Ash to, you know, symbolize their love or whatever. And Avery was like, you know, whoa, this is too much for me. And she broke up with him. And I'm just like,
I didn't understand that.
That's a little bit too anxious, ambulant, if you know what that means.
So, but still, like, so you broke up because he said he put Avery and Ash bracelets on Instagram, but you're sitting on a hotel in Australia?
That's what she is. She's an anxious, ambulant person. This definitely describes to why Avery is just so cautious with him and why she also wants to learn about more about him on this trip. So next we have Lisa and Uzman, Mom's favorite couple.
It is.
So we see Lisa and Uzman the next morning talking to the camera. And Lisa's like, you know, I didn't realize that there was a cultural difference between oral sex with us. And she had to show him a few things. And I was like,
I mean,
well, was
no.
it his way or her way or both ways? I want to know.
Stop, Lisa. Just say no.
Say no to what? She said no to the condoms. That's what she said.
Well,
no
yeah,
to.
she'd been said no to the condoms, but she's like, there's a cultural difference between Americans and Nigerians. Can you believe he didn't know about oral sex? But you did? Okay.
She don't use no condom. She said she nasty.
They get ready for breakfast and they're having a conversation about, oh, how was last night and all this other stuff. So Uzman like, it was good. So the producers caught Uzman off to the side. He said, you know, it was 70% good. I think that's good. Is that good? 70%? I was like... Later, after they get dressed and everything like that, they meet up for breakfast with Uzman's friends, and the friends are like, oh, how did it go? But Lisa's upset because the friends are there. See, Lisa just does not, we're going to say this probably every episode, Lisa does not want to be around friends, family, groupies, nobody. She wants Uzman to herself for the next couple of weeks while she's there. And I think that's unfair.
Uzman to himself and then to manage Uzman. But how are you going to manage Uzman when you can't even give Uzman the creative direction?
So during breakfast, Uzman's friends tell her that his mom doesn't like, quote unquote, white. And Lisa says, well, they will be married. Wouldn't that do? We're going to be married whether his mom likes it or not.
I mean, she's the same age as his mom, so, you know. That's like someone I marry your age stepping up to you.
Don't start that. That's another video. Uzman tells her it'll be with wisdom. Because she asked Uzman, well, how's he going to feel? Like, is he going to tell his, pretty much, are you going to tell your mom we're going to get married regardless? And Uzman's trying to tell her we need to approach this from wisdom. That's going to take wisdom and time, you know, to talk to my mom and let her know. But Uzman tells the confessional that he planned on marrying Lisa regardless. So after breakfast, Lisa and Uzman go back to the hotel. They're packing to get ready for their trip to the city that Uzman's from. And Lisa is concerned about meeting his mom. So now she's concerned. She should have been concerned before she even got there. On the drive, Uzman's phone keeps going off. Bzz, 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 and Lisa's like, your phone's blowing up. Your phone is blowing up. Uzman's like, in his confession, he's like, you know what? I thought things would get better when she came. I just want to know how he thought that.
Because she be able to see for herself. But now she gonna see and she gonna disagree.
But she's jealous though. So if you're jealous here, you can be jealous there because she told him, again, I just wanted to be me and you. But Uzman just like, yeah, trying to patronize her. Not trying. He did patronize her. So that she would come over. But I think she was coming over regardless because, hey, that's baby love, right?
Mm-hmm. Girl Lisa.
Yeah. Baby girl Lisa. That's my little move right there. I do that all the time. Anyways, they finally make it to the house that Uzman and her friends live at. She takes a tour. She's looking around like, wow. Again, just like the other people who go to these countries, you need to do your research. They don't live like we live in America.
I mean, yeah, some people do, but not everyone does.
Yeah. So they're looking around and she's like, he's telling her, this is how we take our shower. He said, you can take this bucket and douse yourself. She's like, oh, no, that's not going to work. Well, yeah, if you stay in there, that's what's going to work. Because there's no other options. She's like, well, I'm glad we're staying at the hotel. I don't know what she expected out of this. I just don't know. She's concerned about how things are going to be when she finally gets to the next step, which is meeting his mom. And so Uzman's friends are sitting down talking to Uzman, talking about, well, how do you think it's going to be? And Uzman is concerned about that. He's concerned because you know what? His mom thinks that Lisa's trying to bring him to the States to be a slave.
Oh, jeez.
And that's the exact word they use. That's not our word. To be a slave. And you know what? For people to still think that way in 2020 is different. But again, they do live in considered a third world country. So maybe things like that might still be on their mind of how things work in America.
Okay, so next we have Jeffrey and Varya, and we see Jeffrey and Varya actually connecting this episode.
Yeah. Not
boring, not like restrained from each other, because they're sightseeing in Moscow, they're doing cable cars or whatever, and Varya asked Jeffrey like, oh, so do you like Russia? And he was like, yeah, it's cool, whatever. And then she was like, well, do you like it more than Knoxville? And he was like, yeah, but it seemed like he kind of took offense to that question.
Yeah, it did.
So he was like, well, what about Tennessee? Like, what's the issue that you're having?
Right.
And she's like, well, I want to live in a big city, not a village. And this is when I got to stop because she keeps saying village.
Yeah, she does.
In America, we don't have any villages.
Nope.
We don't have no villages. Rural areas, yes. Villages, no, because we had to look up what village meant. And village is like, it means like a small town, like few corporate powers, few hundred to 1,000 people,
Yeah.
But no, we don't have those. We have rural areas, not villages. And I guess she thinks like big city, like LA,
Manhattan, because she kept saying Manhattan.
New York, stuff like that. So when she hears Tennessee, if she even hears Tennessee, when she learned about America, you're going to think, oh, grass, farmland. But girl, maybe you should go to Knoxville. That's a big city.
Well,
or is it Nashville?
It's Nashville.
That was close.
I don't know how far it is from Nashville, but it's a big city. But I think she's trying to get to the bigger incorporated cities that most people probably hear about. LA or New York. Those are two big hubs that most people seem to go to that's international. So later on the way back to the hotel, Varya and Jeffrey are, they've been connecting like you said. And, Jeffrey keeps asking, so you going to stay at the hotel? You sure you want to go back to yours? Are you sure you want to go to your friend's house? Whatever. I mean, he's just constantly asking her. So at the end of the evening, they pull up to the hotel. She finally decides to stay. I was like, I'm glad she did. At least, even if they didn't do anything, just so that he would stop asking her. So the next morning, we see Jeffrey and Varya. They're getting ready to go back to her house, which is like 3 hours away in a different city. And they're getting ready. Varya sees a comb. And the comb has Jeffrey's ex-wife on it. Her name on it. I've never seen a comb with someone's name on it at all. Have you?
I mean, you can engrave lots of stuff now, but that's not even the issue. The issue is you're not even with this ex-wife, whom I wonder which one it was. But anyways, you're not even with her no more, so why do you have the comb?
Well, that's what Varia wants to know. And Jeffrey's like, it's just a comb. It's just a comb. I didn't see a big deal about it.
Like, I would have done the same thing too. The comb would have been thrown away. You can get a new comb for $1.
Varia?
Just looks just like that.
Is that you? That's exactly what Varia said.
I mean, you can.
Jeffrey didn't see any problem with it. So, matter of fact, he took it out the trash and put it in his back pocket, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
After the argument, they get in the car, the taxi. They take the drive to her place. Once they get there, they look around. Jeffrey's like, huh, are you remodeling? She's like, oh, yeah, I'm remodeling. Kind of like, yeah, maybe. Kind of like she was really not remodeling, but kind of maybe. And she showing Jeffrey around. He's like, oh, the walls are bare and there's exposed wire and there's just one light hanging out the wall like you're in a prison or something like that. She said,
What now?
She said, I didn't plan on spending money to upgrade it if might be moving to America. And Jeffrey says,
he's like, what you mean?
Pretty much.
And she was like, I thought we was going to, like that. And he was like, well, it kind of seems like you were banking on this.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I thought we were just going to do this because, she loves him. And she basically calls like BS on some stuff because he was like, so if any American man came that you loved, you would have been thinking of going to America too? She's like,
why not?
Yeah. So he was like, wow, okay. But like, isn't this the whole reason?
Oh. All the way in the camera.
Looked for someone? Didn't he go on a website?
Of course, they all did.
So, I don't know, I'm just curious. You go on a website to meet someone from another country. And a lot of countries think about going to America. But you're going to get offended because she stopped remodeling because she started talking to you and fell in love with you. That she wants to come to America with you. Isn't that the whole reason why you did this? I just want to know. Because y'all be acting like you're so surprised by all this stuff.
They do. And Jeffrey seemed like his feelings was truly upset and hurt about this. But
got the crazy eyes and everything.
He did. He was outside stressing. She was honest, but I think maybe he's more invested in his feelings than she is. And maybe if it didn't come off as awkward in the beginning, maybe he wouldn't be so concerned about her not remodeling. I think the catch was, do you think the catch was her not remodeling or the walls being bare or that her couch / futon was the couch and the sofa?
It was the whole package. So for our last couple, we have the new couple, David, who is 60 from Las Vegas, another Las Vegas person.
Oh, goodness.
And Lana, who is 27 from the Ukraine. So they met online 7 years ago. And he said that he spent 5,000 hours with her.
Chatting.
On the line. The chat line on the computer. And that you had to pay by the minute.
Isn't that crazy? I've never heard that before.
Well, I've heard of that, but like for...
on a chat line?
For like the psychological readings and stuff. It'll be $1 a minute.
Psychological, just psychic.
You know what I meant.
Psychological.
So in total, he spent over $100,000. What I want to know is, David, where you at in the city? Because I'm trying to meet you.
Meet you for what? Next, we see David and his friends meet up for drinks or dinner, whatever. And David's friends are Dave and Victoria. And actually, his friend Dave actually met Victoria from Ukraine during the same process. But Victoria said that she's not that kind of girl because she had to pay for her own information. That nobody paid for her. Because he tried to shade her and say, well, you're that kind of girl. Isn't that what you did? And
she caught it and she threw it back.
Sure did. So they're concerned about David's relationship with Lana because they say you keep spending your money, keeps wasting your time, but every time you go over, she has an emergency. You've been over there 3 times and you've never met her. And he's like, well, pretty much saying, well, this is my business. I'm going to do what I want to do. But he's 100% confident that she's going to be there this time because he's planning his trip in a couple days.
He's confident and he's happy. I don't even know how. 7 years, tried to meet up 3 times. You never met up 3 times. And you'll still talk to her on the website that you met her on?
Yeah. And the thing is, on the website, they can only see the face, but when you saw the face, it was just like a little picture, and you can't even hear her voice talking. And they communicate by chat, and then he said, I love her emojis. She sends me like little devil's emojis, like when we're talking sexually. I'm like, really, emojis? That's how you know it's real? He's like, yeah, I just typed back, I was like, ugh. Later that day, David calls his friend Anya, and he used to talk to Anya before. She also lives in Ukraine, so they remain friends. Anya is now married, and he's telling her, hey, I'm coming to Ukraine in a couple days. She's like, oh, okay, I can meet you at the airport. Because she doesn't realize that he's coming to meet someone else he's met online. But once he tells her that he's meeting Lana, she's like, not again. She goes, I think you're being scammed. Again, David is getting defensive. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm 100,000% sure she's going to be there this time. And she's like, well, I really want you to be careful. She's like, well, I know what she's going to wear this time. It's going to be a blue dress. She's going to meet me at the train station. Okay, is she supposed to be the only person that day at a crowded train station, I'm sure, wearing a blue dress?
We gonna see. So that was the end of 90 Day Fiancé Season 4, Episode 4. Yeah. And there really wasn't that much to go off of this episode. But I'm glad we got all the couples out, for the season. But I'm really surprised that we're going to see Ilana next week talking about her catfish situation, because I don't know what else there is to talk about, but I'm here for it. But anyways, thank you guys for watching our videos and our other videos thus far. We really do appreciate it. And we definitely want you guys to comment down below. Tell us what you thought about this episode. Like this video, and please subscribe and follow us on Instagram so we can know more topics and shows to talk about for you guys.
And as always, live simply, be grateful.